Hey guys, hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Bhagya, and if you're new here, I'm a post-intern who make a lot of vlogs and med school related videos and some journaling videos, and also I stream. So today we are gonna talk about the books which I have used in my 2020 NEET PG prep. So usually I am a fan of writing. I write a lot, even though when I'm studying, if it is my first reading, or even if I'm revising it, or even if I'm doing just anything, I have to write it so that I don't get deviated. My concentration is very you can say it's not really strong, so I had to write it in order to keep my concentration on that particular thing. So over the past year, when I started from April, when I started my NEET PG prep, up till yesterday or up till today, I have used a lot of notebooks. Actually, for my notes, for the PG notes which I have took from my coaching center, that was in my iPad, because I realized that if I write notebooks, it would be like a big pile, and I thought of digital, because then it could be in my single iPad. So the whole notes is in this iPad, and this is an iPad Air 2. I guess it's a 2019 one. It's quite an old one. It's been like 3 years since I bought it. Do let me know if you want to have any specific video about the notes and all the apps and how I organize my notes in my iPad. But for now, we are gonna talk about the notebooks which I have used for the past years. So I have almost 5 notebooks of 5 different sizes, and we're going to talk about these notebooks now. Without further ado, let's get started. So actually last year my thinking was this, that I use my iPad more and notebooks less, because I don't want to pile up a lot of books on my table again. But by the time it was October, and by the time I was revising the notes which I did, I wanted something to write. I cannot read and write in my iPad together while I was studying. So I thought, let's just write something in a simple way, whatever the notes. Although the notes which I took was a simple way, I wanted it even more simple. So these are the first 2 notebooks which I used. So one is the classmate one, which is an A4 one, and the other is also from my it is a special notebook which I made and this is also a bigger one, which is an A4 size notebook, and this has almost all the subjects starting from medicine, surgery, and this has the rest of the psychiatry and smaller subjects. And actually I have another small notebook. I'll just show that to you. So these 2 notebooks, so the first phase of my writing notebooks is this has all the information which is from my iPad notes, but in a better version, I guess. Maybe filtering out all the known facts which I already know from my UG and getting them all in a single space. Mostly organizing all of the stuff. Basically it's my first phase of simplifying whatever I wrote so that I can remember. I am a really bad person when it comes to facts, because I cannot remember facts no matter what. So this book mostly has all of the surgery I have done there. So for example, if you see here, I don't know if you can actually, if this focuses this. So if you see, I have a single space of around this much of space, which consists cardiac tamponade, tension pneumothorax, and massive pneumothorax. So if you know, these 3 have almost similar presentations, but with a small change. So usually if you get a patient in your ER and they have with an increase in the JVP and also hypotension, you have to differentiate between if it is a cardiac tamponade or if it is a tension pneumothorax. And also with the massive pneumothorax, the same comes here. So that's what this notebook contains. So it's usually getting down all the information, similar information at a specific at one place, so that I can differentiate them while I'm studying. So now I don't use my iPad notes much, because it's a cluster of all the things. So these 2 notebooks is what I use, specifically this one when it comes to dermatology, psychology, and psychiatry, dermatology, and orthopedics, and this biochemistry, forensic medicine. All the small topics are in this. Those are the first two notebooks, and I can actually say that this is my first phase of reading. When I was reading for my NEET, I was preparing. So this is the crude part of all the notes I have did. Regarding along with my first phase, that is, I was actually, the main reason I started writing into books is because of this, because how cute is this? I wrote I made a small doodling in here, and this has all my anatomy, physiology, and then pathology and pharmacology in here. Usually my pharmacology is in my paper notes because that was easier to make tree diagrams, because you see the antimicrobials and all, I made tree diagrams. I'll show you those two. But this is the first phase of my reading. This book, this single book, is whole for my second phase. This was when I think it was in the starting of January, when I started revising the whole subjects again. When I started writing this notebook, the main agenda of this was because this is we have a few of the things which we most commonly get confused. Like for example, we have Carney's triad and Carney's complex. So it's like a same name but have a different things. So this book mainly contains a lot of information about similar things all in one place. Like if you can see, I think any page, if you take up any page, it has random facts, random important points, because this book, I didn't write it according to the subject. This contains all those things randomly, like ecthyma gangrenosum, and all such of things. It has all those information here with no particular order. Like if I take this page, this random page, this consists of all the information about the glomerulonephritis. Like we have PSGN, RPGN, IgA, and it has all the information in a simple point. So the main agenda of my notebooks is that I want all of them in single points, so that whenever I want to revise, like for example, if I want to revise something, like if we take this, if I want to revise the tough topics and all those which confusing points I always had, then I'm gonna take this notebook and set a time for like 2 or 3 days and then complete, because yes, it takes 2 or 3 days to complete all of this, and it's completely full of facts and nothing that you have to understand, or so it's completely full of facts. So it really takes 2 or 3 days. I think it even take 1 week to complete, and almost you can actually go through, you actually touch every single part of all the 19 subjects in this book. So the next book, this was the book which I designed myself, and I really love this book. Just okay, let's just admire it because I made it. So yeah, so this book is, I think I wrote down this book. Actually, I completely filled all those notebooks. So this book was when the April part of NEET PG, when the NEET PG was supposed to be in April, when that was coming near, 1 month back, I think it was in March, when I was having my rapid revision. That's when I started writing this notebook. So this I think this has again, whenever I revise everything, because I always feel that I might leave some of the stuff. So whenever I revise everything, and while I was revising, there will be some things which I used to find it difficult earlier, but now I find it easy, but some of the things are still tough. So what are the tough things? That gets filtered, the easy things get filtered there, and the tough things are what I write in this book. So it's usually a phasing process. Like when I first wrote the book, it had all the tough topics, all the facts which I didn't know, and I made them into a simple notes. And then in the second time, I made all the facts which were completely confusing, and I'm definitely there's a definite chance that I'm gonna forget. And this has those parts filtered out, which are like, I have a 70% of confidence that I will remember them. I have filtered them out, and this has all those 100% of the stuff or 90% of the stuff which I might forget. And again, if you think that the previous books had 1 to 2 sentences of everything, it has half of the sentence. It's like single sentence of the stuff. And this again, I started with this also has short subjects and also some of the tough ones, like if you see, if I show you here, this has the medicine, the serious part of medicine, which has all the JVPs, I mean the ECG part, what are the ECG changes in certain conditions, and it has the hypertension, and the next page has others like tall T wave, AFib, what are the ECG changes in them. Like you have all the ECG changes in just 2 pages in here, and it's so easy to revise. So what the main agenda of my note taking is that they have to be really easy in order for me to revise in just 1 week. Like if I if I want to, again the same thing happens if I think of revising it really faster. Like if I want the revision to be going slow, like about like a month, I would take up my first phase of notes. But if I want that revision to be in a week, then I would take up this notebook and this notebook, and I would divide my time and I would use that. And to the final notebook. This was a random notebook which I picked up, and this was also from classmate, and I started writing this notebook when it was my final phase of April NEET PG prep. The final phase was like 20 days before the exam, and I had to revise it again, a fast rapid revision. This was then which I took, and it mostly contains notes about the GTs. So usually whenever I give my GT and whenever I review my GT, I make Anki cards in when I was reviewing, so that I don't forget them, and I frequently revise them. But there are some topics which I thought like they are definitely I have to revise them just before the exam, and those are this book contains all those topics. If you can actually just let me. So this is the checklist of all the topics which I wanted to revise just before the exam, and the exam didn't happen, so I didn't actually go through them. But this is basically I mean, when I was doing my final revision, I used to read those topics, and when I thought that there is a chance that I might have to revise it just before or 2 days before the exam, I used to write them down. And when I used to write them down, I used to also write those parts in some of these pages. Like for example, SLE is really tough for me because it's really confusing for me, because it has a lot of antibodies, autoimmune antibodies, and also different patterns for them. Like if you see, there is antibodies here and the different patterns we have in here, and that's how this whole page consists of SLE. And then this page consists of the skull findings, because I made a mistake of this in one of the GTs where they gave the actual X-ray of the skull instead of these pictographs. I was used to these pictographs, like if they gave in a diagrammatic form but not actual X-ray. So in one of those questions it was the X-ray, and I made a mistake, so I didn't want to make a mistake, so I wrote it down. So this book contains all those topics which I never touched. I mean, my iPad notes do not contain those topics, but they were asked in the GTs and I had to remember them. So and also in the previous GTs. So this book contains all, and you can see I have actually color coded all of them so that it's easier to, I think the green ones contain all the COVID information. Yes, the green one contains the COVID information which I took up while doing those classes, or you see, we have frequent COVID information updated, and we have frequent changes in them. So this contains, so the green part contains all the COVID information I have took while I was studying. The random one, this is about the Covishield. I am a really big freak of notebooks. I have a ton of notebooks. I have a lot of notebooks for my journaling. I have a lot of notebooks for like random writing. I have a lot of planners, and these are the notebooks for which I used through my NEET PG preparation. Well, these are the books which I used over the year, and I'm sure because now the NEET PG has postponed, I'm sure there would be one more book, or but right now I'm only thinking of concentrating on doing GTs and reviewing them. So if that's the case, then it would be only in my iPad. But if I'm going to revise it again, then I'm gonna have to write another notebook with a more filtered version. So the thing is that with every book, with every phase, the notes get filtered. It filters, it ultra filtration, then nano filtration, and then finally you get that information which is really concise and which is really high yielding. So it goes through a phase. It's not like a one-day thing, and I'm really happy that I have these books. So whenever I feel like revising things, then I really feel like I have to revise it no matter what. I would turn on to these books instead of reading the whole book again. And also, I'm not a person who can like flip the pages and remember it. I have to go through that point, to read that point out loud and remember it. So I really have to have a better system than just flipping out pages. So this is the way it works. It for today, guys. I know this has been a long video with me just sitting down and talking, but do let me know if you have any other ideas you want me to talk about, and also do let me know if you want me to talk about the notes and organization in my iPad. I would love to do it. If you enjoyed this video, do like, share and subscribe, and comment down below what is your favorite part, or if it is very helpful to you or not. And till next time, have a great day, guys. Stay home, stay safe, and we'll meet again.